It's just different.
Hopeless at one point and then having an opportunity to make you go harder, make you get in that booth and just really express that hopelessness. Like, man, y'all don't understand. This is like, you know what I mean? You dig from a different place. That bottom of your soul, that pit, homie, where you felt like the shit was, you know what I'm saying? You always wanted, but it looked like it was just not gonna happen.
Shit, in your mind it ain't gonna happen, shit, it probably won't. I took some risks, some people probably won't. That's how we're grateful for the fruits of all my labor. Hard to live and know you sick, I'd rather be with my creator, thinking time's up.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Four Insight Podcast. This is your host, Mike Obi.
It's your boy London back for some more gems. What's up, Obi?
Not much, man. Another day, another week, another opportunity to bring some content to the people. What's going on in your end?
Nothing much, man. Been a busy week. Just kind of, I've been actually itching for this episode. You've been coming up with some good content and some good things to talk about. So we're gonna keep going with it, and I'm interested in keep going.
Most definitely. But first and foremost, let's get the formalities out the way. So like we always try to do, we appreciate all of you guys who listen and tune in to us every week, you know, who reach out to us in person or on social media, giving us your feedback, asking us questions, requesting episodes, requesting topics. You know, this show runs and is fueled largely by you guys' influence and you guys' energy. You guys taking the time out to give us a listen. So we appreciate you guys and continue to do so with your support by giving us a 5-star rating on all your listening platforms, including Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube, and also subscribe. All right, so now let's get into this week's episode. So let's begin with, like you mentioned, we've been bringing really some great content. You know, our partnership really has worked well. People like what we've been saying, like what we've been talking about, and we've only really scratched the surface. We're still in the beginning stages. There's still a lot of pressing issues that we are going to talk about and we have to tackle, especially as we continue to grow both ourselves and in society. Now, for me, I don't know whether you noticed this about me, London, but I have a very hyperactive mind. I think about a lot of things, man. And so it's a blessing and a curse because, you know, it's a blessing in terms of I'm always thinking and I'm always trying to progress. I'm always trying to grow, which I like. And I'm always trying to seek out answers to the way that I think about things. And it's a curse because it doesn't ever turn off, right? And it's almost to the point of overthinking. You know, I'm always kind of, you know, trying to be harsh on myself in terms of trying to figure out stuff, trying to find the answers to the questions I have. But, you know, I try to use it in a positive way by, you know, having our conversations this week, you know, and try to form, you know, opinions that make sense and that are thought provoking. Now, with this week's episode, I think this is a topic that is applied to really almost every single man in today's society. And it's something that really kind of hit home for me. So recently, many mentors of mine, especially older mentors, have kind of been, you know, talking to me. I've been talking to them, asking them questions. You know, some of them listen to our show, and they've been challenging my thought process and our thought process in terms of like, okay, we hear what you guys are saying. We hear what you guys are talking about. We hear some of the complaints that you guys have in terms of women, lives. And honestly, you guys' mindset, while we get it, we feel like your mindset is a little bit archaic and a little bit old school. What do you think about that whenever I first present that to you?
Yeah, but like you said, your mind is very advanced. So it's like you've been around some older folks and people with wisdom. So organically, you're going to have that mindset. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just maybe we have to keep educating the people in our generation to keep putting the stuff that we got installed. Maybe they didn't get that game, or maybe they forgot about it. So it's like, to me, I agree with what they're saying, but I also think you can just be ahead of your time. Like, I feel like I am. I feel like I tell people I feel like I'm 50, 60 years old because I've been around a bunch of people in like Detroit, and all my aunties and all my uncles are, they're older than me, like by a lot. My cousins are older. I'm the youngest cousin. So it's like, I'm getting that free game. So it's like, to me, I think you're doing everything right. And that's why when you speak to these women or you speak to these guys, they're like, you're different. So I don't think you're doing anything wrong, in my personal opinion. That's how I am. So
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I always get told, like, Mike, you are the oldest young dude I've ever met, bro. Like, what
Yeah,
is going
I get
on
the
here?
same. I get the same thing because I think that's why we coexist. That's why I think we started the show because like you came up to me and then we were just like spitting, talking about just what we felt, and you was probably like, "Damn, I'm similar to you." And like that's kind of why I think we just connect with that aspect of everybody that I talk to or everybody that's like in my circle is like we just have an old soul, and it's like
Mhm.
we also can be 25, 24 at the same time, which is like it's a good balance. And then I think that's why people say we're different.
Yeah. Also, that's trying to navigate modern and young times
Right.
and it's ever evolving too. So it's like we're all trying to figure things out. We're all trying to run the same race, given, the blueprint that we've been instilled in. It's almost I almost kind of wonder if it's an outdated blueprint. Like, can this not work going forward? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a lot of what we're gonna tackle today. So where I want to start off is, okay, so we've talked about dating relationships. We've talked about how we see relationships working out with women, what we want out of women, some of the qualities that are turn ons and turns offs, right? Now, it was challenged to me that, listen, this whole idea of even having roles, right, in a relationship as a man, it shouldn't be that big of a deal in terms of you guys should be able to respect one another. And like, the fact of the matter is, those roles that you saw, maybe from your grandparents or even your parents growing up, those came from a generation where men solely were the providers and women didn't work. The fact of the matter is, you live in a time now where women do work, which is correct. So as a result, a woman doesn't have to be in the house cooking or being a housewife if she chooses not to. And in turn, a guy shouldn't have the same expectations of her as if she is. Now, what do you think about that statement as I laid it out for you?
I mean, you know me, I'm gonna be a person that always think that we all should have roles
Yeah.
for the rest of my life just because how I was raised like that. Oh, so
Mhm.
it comes with scrutiny, as you can see. Like, we run into people all the time saying, oh, this isn't 2000. I mean, this isn't the 60s, this isn't the 70s. Like,
Yeah.
I should be able, I think people, it's kind of like the Cam Newton situation when they heard him say what he said and just spun it the way they wanted to, which
How
I
dare
do.
he? How dare
Exactly.
he want something? How dare he want to be
Say
old school
somebody
and
shut up and just
traditional?
do this, which I knew what he meant. And he said
Exactly.
in his follow up last, I worded it wrong. I was like, you did word it wrong,
Yeah.
but I got what you meant.
Right.
But it's like, we all play a part. And it's
Mhm.
like, until we realize we all play a part, I think we're going to fail. And I think to me, I'm
Ooh.
so pro everybody have a role. Like, I'm not about to sit here and ask you to go pick up this 100-pound box. Like, that's my role. If you need me to change your oil, I'm going to change your oil. If you need me to do that, that's just my role. If you need some days, if you're working and you go to work and you come home, I'm home first, I'll cook. It's, to me, you have to have a balance. And people get so, I think it's like a competitive game that we're doing now. I'm like, this is getting overwhelming at this point.
Yes.
So for me, I'm always going to try to elaborate to the woman that I talk to that we have roles, but we don't have to stay in that role forever. If you want to cook some of the days, if you can't do that, I'll cook, or we can pick up, take home, whatever you want to do. But we all have to, because you're better than me at some things, I'm better than you at some things. It's about how you work things. And until we fully elaborate that to the woman slash man, I think that's where we're going.
No, I absolutely agree. The fact of the matter is, we have roles and we all have a part to play in our
Right.
relationship and our family working, but understand that you having a role doesn't mean you have less respect, or that doesn't mean that I see you beneath me or lesser than me. It just means that you have something that you strive in. And so if you bring 100% effort there, and if I bring 100% effort in whatever I have defined for me, then we'll be able to bring a very successful unit going. And then whenever we decide to have children, for those of us who want to have children, we can instill that blueprint, a very defined and clear blueprint to them. And then they'll be able to be raised to me with more clarity, more efficiency. And then now obviously, again, there are going to be hurdles, there are going to be obstacles that come. But when you have things clearly defined, you're able to navigate them clearly. Whenever there's, blurred lines and, you're not really sure what the vision is, you're not really sure what, the mindset is, you're not really sure what, our end goal is, it makes, navigating challenges a lot harder, in my opinion. And as far as roles and why I'm a proponent of roles, I'm big on history. As much as people don't like history, don't think it's important, the one thing I've always understood is that history has a tendency to repeat itself, right? And historically, people usually have had, roles defined in families, in society, even the best empires, right? I'm not saying that families are empires, quote unquote, but I'm saying in terms of anything that has had a system in place, when the roles were defined, when there were roles in place, those things were usually more successful. When everything was, almost egalitarian, there was no real clear leader defined. It was always, a bit of muckiness. Those things usually tend to break up a lot faster because it's a matter of my way or no way, right? Or it's like this point of contention whenever we do face adversity, right? We have to have someone be able to kind of say, okay, you take the lead here. Okay, you have this position. Okay, you take the lead. When it comes to decorating a home, like you mentioned before, all right, she's better. My wife may be better at that than I am. Okay, when it comes to cooking, she might be better than I am. Or maybe I know how to make this particular dish better. It's not a matter of, like you said, it being a competition or being a power play. It's just understanding where we fall in and then us being able to take lead and take ownership at that point.
I can't tell you when my mom went on a work trip and my dad was still working, but he was going in the office and my mom had to go to Ohio or something. I was in Michigan and my dad had to be the mom, cook, make sure everything it got done. But when I tell you it was so unorganized that the point I was like, where my mama at? She run this side of it great, but she was working and she was doing the corporate America stuff. And it's my dad had to do that. And it's okay, he'll cook. Yeah, the lights would be off at 6 p.m. and we go to sleep. I'm like, the lights off, nothing's happening. He going in his room. I'm like, it's just quiet in here. I need my mama back in here. So we all play a role, and until it's okay to know that you're better at this than I think women look at it as you telling me to cook, clean, and just shut up. I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say
I agree.
You're better at that than me. Mm-hmm. Or you're better at this than me. You can organize, decorate this house than me. I want to put you in. Just like I'm better at you than fixing something or putting something up. I don't want to do that cleaning stuff because you can. My mom was when I clean my house, she was there's just things that you don't see that I see that's still dirty. I'm to me, this place is clean as I can say. But she's gonna be no, you see this over in that corner? My mom's talking about washing walls, washing baseboards. Okay, mom, I'm not doing all that. So it's just that's something that women see that we don't see. So
yeah. Well, even with my parents, it was the same thing. Okay, my dad can cook food, and if it was needed for him to do so, maybe my mom's out of town, maybe my mom's working late, and we were hungry and we didn't have any food made. Okay, he could do it. But here's the thing, the funny thing is we wouldn't even call what me and him would make food. We call concoctions. We wouldn't it was just us throwing random shit in the pot, and it would taste all right because we knew how to spice it up. We knew how to put attention to detail in it. We knew how to make it taste good. But in terms of my mom, it was she knew because she grew up doing it. She grew up on a farm, and so you had to know how to cook. Right, that was part of her upbringing, right? And so naturally, she knew how to put the details. She knew how to present food. She knew how to dish food. And so it's she strived better at that. But the one thing, I'm talking about, my dad was never the type to be you have to make food. It's when she made it great.
Just
you don't have to. It's hey, when
you do that, girl, better than anybody I know. So I'm gonna let you do it. I'm not gonna sit here and say don't do it, girl. I admire you so much for being able to make this and cook for my family. I love you for that.
And I think that's a part that is missed. Is the admiration that actually men have. I get it because a lot of us don't say it maybe, but the admiration that we have in our the easiest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. You hear that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So a woman who can cook and can cook with love in her heart, bro, guys, I'll say this, ladies, guys appreciate that more than y'all think and more than y'all understand.
Yes. For me at least, you have me a plate full of food by my table when I just got the shower or something. Here, baby, here your food. Boy, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not gonna sit here and do all this extra stuff.
right? Shoot, it's like, hey, make some food that made from scratch. Maybe it's your best dish, and then ask me for something. All right,
All right, whatever you want me to do, I got you, girl.
you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just understanding that if you do things out of love and just out of the right way,
Genuineness.
you know what I'm saying, you get more stuff. Like you get more. Like my mom, I remember when I asked her that question, it was like mom, why did you cook? I asked that simple stuff because that was a big thing these days. Like, why did you cook? Why did you want to work? Why did you want to do? Well, in terms of the cooking thing, she was like I like doing it, and I like to see your dad's reaction whenever I make a plate of food and he's enjoying it. Like it brings her joy. So I was like,
Right. That's what my mom would say, is like the fact that your husband sees like sees that happiness, like this is good. Like we really appreciate that. Like we're not gonna be able to get through a lot of these women with it. And I'm not saying that you're wrong if you don't want to cook. I'm just saying what me and Obi saw. We saw some old school people do it this way, and maybe we're stuck in that way, and maybe we can't break it. But we're just going off of. I'm not saying that the cheating rate was lower back then, because I think it still was high, but they just didn't get us caught. But I think a man really loved their women more back then because they had so much more to offer, I feel like, than now. And it's not no shot at women now. It just, I know you guys are capable of doing a lot, and we don't do a lot of things, men. Like, I'm not gonna say anything, we just off the hook, but both sides aren't performing to the standards that we both can. Like as a man, a lot of us men can't fix nothing. That's why I always say I'm different, because I can fix almost, because my dad taught me that I can fix a lot of things. I can cut. You see Obi every weekend talking about he'd come up to like, I had to do yard work. To me, I grew up on stuff like that. So it's like, that's just, when he says, I'm like, it's a regular day, but you don't hear that in Texas. I don't know where you guys are located, but in Michigan, I had to cut grass. I had to edge the lawn. I had to go do these things, pull weeds or something. I had to shovel the ground and like snow blow the like ground. So it was like I did multiple things where I know how to do. I watched my mom cook. So as a man, I always say I can provide and do all these things. I work in corporate, man. I do all these things. I work out so you don't come home and think this dude's a sloppy slob or something. I do all these things so my woman can say, well, at least he's trying to be the best version of him. So that's why I always say for women, I just need the best version of you, or at least try to be the best version, because I'm gonna give you my 100% and you need to give me my 100%.
Effort is big to me. And like you just talked about, like, okay, like in some of the yard work stuff, like the ability to be capable to do things is paramount. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the thing my dad always used to tell me, like when I was younger, we used to be outside doing yard work. Like it might be tiring having to go out and cut hedges and cut trees down and having to tie them up by yourself. But here's the thing, after we finish, he'd be like, all right, now Mike, understand, we could have hired people to do this, but then we'd have been out this much money, and then that's more money that you have to spend instead of just doing it yourself. You understand how to do it, you understand you can do it the way you want it, and you don't got to deal with no headache of having to talk to somebody.
We learned the value of money, I think, as a kid, because our dad is your dad's an engineer?
Yeah.
Chemical engineer. Is like my dad grew up on some blue collar stuff, do this, do that, fix that. Like my dad can easily get his houses that he does real estate renovated, but he just knows so much about it. He's like, I'm gonna go do it myself. How can I cut down this $5,000 to $10,000 extra and do it myself? And that's just how we was raised. And it's like, that's why I'm gonna teach my son the same way. Like you don't have to, it's a smarter way. If you able to buy somebody to do it, okay, maybe do it here and there, but at least look at it first. Yeah. Like I tell Blake and stuff, I'm like, don't take it to the mechanic first and just whatever. Look at it first. It might be a little old spark plug that you go get at AutoZone to fix that. They're going to charge you about $500 to $600 more than what you need to pay. Like start using your head a little bit. So I definitely, me and you I think that's where we connect a lot.
All right, but here's the thing, L, devil's advocate. In terms of even the way we were raised and in terms of the ladies, from the way we were raised, one would argue we don't need to do that shit anymore. Like it's modern times, you can pay for that. That's more time. That's more energy that you're wasting when you can just simply pay for somebody to do that. So why do you need to waste all that energy, doing it yourself?
I feel better. To me, it's like working out. why take steroids? Or I mean, I'm not knocking nobody to do it. Why take steroids, or why do all these unnecessary things when you can work extremely hard and you feel the you feel the success in it more when you do it the hard way, and you do it like when I lost these 40 something pounds, I didn't even know how much I was losing, but like when it came off me, I was like, dang, I did that for me. Like I didn't take nothing crazy. I just worked hard. And everybody like, why are you so big? I'm like, I did this naturally. Like I always tell people, and I say as a joke, I'm like, I'm black. We got the best genes I can think of. I don't need no goddamn injections in me. I eat food. And that's how we got big. They be like, oh, how you pushing +4+ plates? He just eat good. Like he just grew up eating. I mean, as kids, we was just some chubby kids just eating. Like we're gonna just eat until we can't eat no more.
That pounded ham, boy, I've been trying to tell people, bro. Nigerian
exactly.
food.
Y'all eat more like that type of food than us. And that's why I always say, like, y'all got it goes like Nigerians, like Africans, and then it goes African American. I think like all those like Nigerians and Africans, like they have the best genes that you can find. I'm like, we just like we like a notch under. We still got good genes, but I'm like, the way they eat, like they might eat food for like plantains and just like they bought a lot of rice. Like it's like that's why y'all get so strong. I'm like, see, we eat soul food, but y'all eat a lot of more carbs, I feel like. And then we eat carbs, but we eat like bad carbs. Y'all don't really eat bad. Like it's just a lot of just I don't feel like stuff y'all eat is bad.
Well, the thing is, just on that aspect, in terms of the difference, is that everything is grilled. Like you're not gonna see a whole bunch of processed stuff in Nigeria, right? You have to farm it, you have to go out and kill it, and then you have to put it under a fire. So it's not, like that stuff is real. And I've seen it done. It smells disgusting, but it's good and it tastes natural. Doesn't taste processed, right? So that's one thing. You have to put a whole bunch of artificial stuff that'll cause you, health cause you like pre-existing conditions like hypertension, diabetes as much, right? And then also because there's not cars all over the place in Africa, like people are way more active, so as a result you're burning calories more frequently just by lifestyle,
making mac and cheese with extra cheese, and we
extra salt and extra
putting dressing with extra, like you putting dressing and you making green beans supposed to be healthy. We putting bacon, turkey neck in there, we seasoning, like it's just fried chicken, like anything fried you can think of, like, so it's different, but I mean it gets you the results. But it's like that's kind of why I say it's kind of like, what was the analogy that I was saying, that that's why I think you should work, like why not pay for something? We kind of got off topic of that. Why not? For me, if I don't pay for that and I fix it myself, I'm just more happy that I did that myself. I come in and say, I fixed that by myself. I have a girlfriend, or if I have a wife, she's gonna be like, man, my man really knows what he's doing. He did that by himself. And that, as bad as it sounds, we all have egos as men. Yeah. And if a woman's like, man, my baby did that by herself, I can rely on him. I can know if he says, let's go left, and the world said, let's go right, I'm going to trust my man and let's go left. And that's going to make a man go through a wall for y'all. Just trying to get y'all free game.
Most definitely London out here dropping the gems. All right. But the second part of my question then is on the ladies' side. I hear this a lot. Okay, I get you. I get it. Y'all are telling us, yo, cook, yo, you got a role to play. But what about the women who, they do play their role? Maybe they are a nice woman. Maybe they do cook for their husband, but he don't appreciate it. Why should I keep on subjugating myself to go through that?
That's a damn good question, because that's basically how my mom is with my pops. I'm like, Mom, I'm sorry you said you're clean, and it took me to go through all this hell with other women to really appreciate what you got going. So for that just sucks. That's why I tell women, that's when y'all are right and y'all leave. Like if they don't value you, leave. I'm on y'all side at that point, because I've been through it. So it's like, just leave.
But London, I love him.
Nah, leave. Fast as you can.
Hey, nah, I 100% agree. That's my main thing. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm the wrong person to ask for relationship advice. I'm always going to tell you to look out for yourself. And that's not what people want to hear. They want me to hear, they want to, oh, well, you should work it out this way. You should communicate. Nah, man.
They should stay though.
Huh?
Women should stay though. It just depends on the situation.
You have to assess every situation independently, and first and foremost, I would say go to people who have the genuine intentions in their heart. Don't go to some dude that you friend zoned and then ask him what he thinks you should do with your relationship, because he's gonna tell you the selfish thing, right? Go for people who don't have a skin in the game, don't have a skin in the fight, and are just gonna look out for your well-being. You know what I mean? In terms of seeking advice, both men and women. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to go to your single friends and they see you're in a relationship, well, obviously they're gonna tell you to look out for yourself. They're gonna tell you to, oh man, F that person, forget about them. Right. But if you have people who are in relationships making it work out, they might be able to hold you accountable. Like, all right, well, you can maybe work this out a little bit more. Or is this really that big of a deal for y'all to be arguing about it? You know what I mean? And just kind of be around the right individuals and understand who you're talking to and who you're getting advice from is what I say. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. So now we've gotten some of the old school mentality out the way, but here's the fork in the road, right? At least for us as men. Society tells men that they should be nice. They should have good character. They should be nice human beings. They should be good human beings in order to have healthy relationships. To that, what do you say? And do you agree or disagree?
That's a good question, honestly. I don't think you should be too nice. I think you should be kind of mean in the beginning. Like in the beginning, when like you're in a chase, like in that part where the woman's like curving you, you gotta like make it a challenge for her. But once she likes you, that's kind of when you got to be nice at that point. Because like I was talking to this one girl and she was like, I fall into a problem where if a man is too like texting me too much too fast or whatever, I'll fall back. She's like, I kind of need a chase. To me, I thought that was just the dumbest thing I ever heard. But
yeah, it's goofy.
I mean, that's kind of what these women just kind of want. So like, but once they say I like you and I only want you, now you gotta do the most and keep texting them. And why aren't you trying how you used to try? I was like, you just told me you wanted to chase, so I want to just keep chasing. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I think, like you said, it's like there's almost a limit or a percentage that you can't give it all at one time. I think you can't do too much in the beginning. You kind of have to, I call it like food coloring. You got to give it in dosages. Yeah, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't want to just give out and show all your cards all at one time. You just kind of have to keep the mystery and, kind of let them peel back the layers of the onion, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, as far as you interacting, because if you just come out and you're just rambling off, like, she may not have even wanted to know all of that about you yet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she just wanted to gauge like your personality, gauge how are you able to talk to her? Maybe that's enough, as a guy. But they get so caught up in, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. You're everything in the world. And I just want to make sure. I'm like, all right, bro, you're doing too much. And I think every guy has to learn that. You have to go through things by experience. And a lot of guys aren't comfortable having these conversations. So it's a lot of trial and error and a lot of failing and picking yourself back up. You know what I'm saying? Now, society also reacts to nice men. While they tell us, we should be nice, we should be good, we should have high character, we should be compromising, we also get told that those type of men are simps and the nice guys finish last in society. So to that claim, what do you say?
That's facts. Like, not
even hesitation.
Nice dudes for sure finish last. I mean, not always, but like, it depends on the day you ask me. Like, recently in the last like month, I'm on a simp team. So I'm trying to just find me a little wife and sit down. But at the same time, it also depends on the woman you're talking to.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking to an immature woman who's like social media driven, she don't want to simp. But if you're talking to like a woman who's just really over that phase, they don't really care. So it depends what type of woman you're talking to / man. I can't really just keep bashing women. I feel like I bash women a lot. So I kind of want to say men too. Like I want to make this a podcast of like both sides. Because it do come off as sometimes like we just saying what they do wrong. That's why pretty soon we're gonna start. I got like at least 6 or 7 women say they want to come on here. So pretty soon we're gonna bring women on here so we can like get their like point of view of it. But right now I can only speak on how I feel.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we got to continue to have a different perspective, and that's part of the journey, right, that we're going through. I mean, this is just all a process, right? For me, I like interacting with women in person. Like I take a lot of this like these questions I have, and I just go ask them. I'm like, yeah, you as a lady, what would you say about this? What would you say about that? And that's where I kind of get a lot of the feedback. So like a lot of what I think and what I say is like, I don't just pull it out my ass and like, I think women say this. Is like, no, I've been told this. Like, and again, me having a lot of women friends growing up, like I just sit back and listen, and I'm like, oh, that's what y'all think. And then you know what I'm saying? But no, I think, I don't think any woman wants a simp at all. Like, I don't think that's an attractive trait. I think a guy who has the ability to show empathy is great, and that's attractive, right? But a guy who has high character and respects himself, and in turn, I think him respecting himself is what is attractive, because she knows like he's a guy who has principles and he has a leg to stand on, right? I think any person who can be pushed around is or seen as a pushover. I think that's what is unattractive. And most times, guys who are nice are too agreeable, is what I observe. And then that being too agreeable, makes you seem like you don't have a backbone, or that you wouldn't be able to stand up to yourself. Now, again, that goes to the woman. That goes to the woman. Like you said, if you have a woman who is about drama, or a man who's about drama, even still, like this could go to work or in just your friendships or in the day to day. If you have a person who is uncompromising, is always trying to, go along and always trying to be agreeable, always trying to, avoid conflict, well, then that person usually gets taken advantage of. And then being able to be taken advantage of, you're not attractive. And then not being attractive, that's what gets you, cheated on, and all the other negative outcomes that happen, in my opinion.
Boy, coming with some bars today.
Hey man, just bestowing my thoughts for us to talk about. So we talked about that, and I honestly genuinely believe that society doesn't, raise people to be nice in general, men or women. Like, if we had a society that I think, strived on people being nice, or was built for people to be nice, then people would really have more empathy in their hearts and would look out for one another. The fact of the matter is, I feel society inherently teaches us to be selfish and to look out for our own self-interest as a means of, look, this is about, getting your own and, being cutthroat. And honestly, selfishness is what is profitable, and, greed is what is profitable. Even though we tell people, we should live by the golden rule, most people who live by the golden rule get taken advantage of, and that's just the skinny of it,
Right. Sure.
So now we've talked about all these things, but we all are about solutions here. So what's going on really when, it comes to, maybe people being taken advantage of, nice guys finishing last? Is it like what I mentioned? Do you think it's that? Or is it just really about finding a balance, and how do you go about finding that balance?
I'm always gonna resort back to social media. Honestly, like we be trying to live in everybody else's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Try to be like everybody else instead of just doing what makes you happy. I feel like as a dude, I got even homies or something. If you say stuff too nice, they be like, oh, you kind of, I wouldn't say you a simp, but like they'd be like, you being this nice, like why you being so nice, like she did this or something, like, so you got to just do basically what make you happy at the end of the day. And like y'all got to just have that communication at the end of the day. Like if she did, that's like, for example, like if I got with a girl and I was dating her, and then she cheated on me, and then I went back to her, what would you say? You probably be like, what do you say, I'm a fool? Or you be like, well, do you love her? What if I say I loved her though?
You're a fool.
I'm a fool, see? And it's like, that's why dudes don't do stuff because of other people instead of how they really feel. So to find that balance, you kind of got to just do what makes you happy at the end of the day.
Right, most definitely, I agree. I mean, I think it just goes to, you can give your all, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the thing is, people get so caught up in, I got to make this work, even if it means me sacrificing my own well-being. I'm not a person who agrees with that. I think like you give your all until the person proves that they're not worthy of it anymore. And then once they prove that, you listen to them. You simply say, hey, I appreciated the interaction. I appreciated the time, but I'm going to move on and find something else. And I think having that ability is something that's lost these days, honestly.
Yeah, it works for you though, because like you probably like the only loyal dude I know. So if a girl cheat on you, like, okay, yeah, you should be, because I don't know. Like if you loyal, then it's like I've been loyal this whole time. But like if you a guy and you've been cheating, you leave, you kind of should give her like a few strikes, honestly.
You're a
But
guy and you've been
so
cheating.
if you was cheating and then she gets cheated, like you catch her cheating, most guys be like, how you gonna do this to me? Versus maybe you should give her a strike because but see how we just want double standards.
What the hell are you talking about, London?
I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna serious out now, but I'm saying we should.
The hell? No. I'm not letting you get away with that one, bro.
No, we should.
My thing is if you get caught cheating, or first off, don't do it if you're not trying to get caught. Like, I don't understand. Like, anyway, I just don't do it, in my opinion, if you're not willing to accept getting caught. And if you do get caught, I just think you should just end the relationship there because okay, you said let her have her own strikes, let her get back. That's not gonna make it okay.
You should,
like,
but that's if you're cheating.
I guess you might.
Most guys.
I say just don't be in a relationship.
I'm gonna leave. I'm on your side. I'm gonna leave too. But I'm saying, like, because a woman will give us another chance.
Mm-hmm. It's not a genuine one, in my opinion, because she's never gonna trust you again. That trust is lost, my brother. Like that. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you a chance. Maybe I'll forgive you. It's like, yeah, but you're never going to see me the same way again. Like, you're never going to trust me again. You're always going to have that in the back of your head. If I did it once, I'll do it again. Once a cheater, always a cheater in most people's mind. That's right. Crazy. So it's like, look, I'm going to just go ahead and peace out and let you do you. And we're going to move on from this. But maybe, like you said, maybe that just works for me because of how I am. And I always tell people don't think like me because it's not that people can't, but it's like, it's a very, what's the word you would use for how I am? You know me long enough.
He has one way of thinking and he will never leave it alone.
No, because that makes me sound too rigid. I have a little bit more open-minded. It is kind of that. Maybe.
He's open-minded, but it's like when it comes to relationships, I think. But it's definitely, you can go into it a different like angle of it. But I do think you have your set ways on if this happens this way, then you can't overcome it. Or if this happened that way, it's done.
Okay, I get you that. It's like, for me, the red flags that I do see or that I am firm on, if I see any of them, and that, like, there's no coming back from that because they can't be ignored. Like, there are certain things that I believe in a relationship or with, talking to women and experiencing women, or like, going through dating them, like, where it's like, okay, I can't ignore that, or like, that's a warning sign that like I have to heed. And it's the same thing for women, I'm sure, with guys. Like, I'm sure they have their little things, like their little red flags that they see where it's like, okay, if a guy does this, and you got to cut him off. And that's how it should be. You should be careful. You should be diligent. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think for me, it's like there's no wavering on any of the things that I'm firm on, right? And that's part of me trying to navigate this, like, in me, why I ask questions going back to the very beginning on why, like, I talked to my mentor. It's like, okay, is this really that big of a deal or is it not? Is this really that big of a deal or is it not? Or no, are we just thinking about these things too much? And it's kind of like just getting that feedback from people who've been married, who've been navigating it is, valuable to me because they've been through the race already. Like, people may ask, Mike, why do you care so much about like the type of woman you meet? It's like, because that's one of the most important decisions you make in your life, who you decide to build a family with. Now, obviously, right now, like I talked about previously, I'm trying to build myself up, build a career up, become financially wealthy and well off, so that way I'm ready. But when I am ready, I want to also have the knowledge, based where I'm able to make that decision with as much information as I can, is how I see it.
All right.
My boy London said you should let her have a hall, boy.
See, that's when guys are gonna come on me. I gotta make a balance of this podcast.
Oh yeah, and best believe I'm clipping that shit and I'm putting it on Instagram, bro. You are out of line, bro.
I posted
too. But in the end, I think what this all boils down to, though, is that, at least for men, speaking on our end, because both of us are guys, going through this, I just think that men can't seek their validation by artificial things like their body count or how much money they have or whatever the case may be. It should be about your principles and your intangibles and how you see yourself, how you carry yourself.
That sounds good.
It does, and it's much harder to do than me saying it. this is a person who's gone through those type of things, and I'm still actively going through those things. Like I always say, I'm never ever going to be a finished product. I'm always going to be trying to learn. I'm always going to be trying to grow. But that's kind of the beauty of the journey for me, is that I love that part. I love the fact that I don't know everything, and I'm always trying to learn and always try to figure things out. Try to ask questions, because that to me is just an iron sharpening iron and me figuring things out. You know what I mean?
That's true. It's like, but on the woman aspect of it, that don't always work
What do you mean?
in society today.
What you mean?
Like just wanting to always learn something and kind of just do it the right way. But like, if you have a clout basically in money,
Yeah.
that really can get you probably further now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that does a lot of the like intro work to where it's easier for you on the back end if you have clout, if you have money. Like that kind of takes down some of the layers of like, okay, we're not sure about this man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, he has money, he has clout, so clearly he might be a somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's all good and well, but I've known people who had money and all that stuff, and they were still, falling flat on their face because they didn't do the internal work. You know what I'm saying? Like a weird, poor-minded millionaire is gonna go broke and gonna go bankrupt. A person like, a guy who's wealthy but has no game is gonna flop with females still. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I've seen. That's what I believe. So, but you're absolutely correct though that if you are able to get that, that's just one extra tool on the toolbox. That's one extra layer that you can have as far as being able to present that when you are trying to find your partner. So you're absolutely correct. I believe that. All right. So now as we close out, man, and as we get towards the end, what's kind of been your takeaway from this week's episode? Just sort of reflecting back, man. What do you think?
More gems. But on a serious note, kind of just basically just kind of coming to an understanding of how can women and men come to a common ground, and how can we come to the communication of fixing this problem that we have in this generation. Because I don't see, I always tell my homies, I'm like, I don't see none of us getting married. One of my homies just got engaged. So I mean, that's some motivation, but other than him, I don't really see none of us really getting.
Why do you not see any of us getting married? Because this is actually good. This is a growing thing of people not wanting to get married, both men and women. We talked about that in the past. Like guys aren't wanting to propose because they don't think women are marriage minded or wifey material. And
for me, that's what it is. Huh? For me, that's what it is. I just don't. I probably will, but because that's the right thing to do in the world.
Right.
But I'm sure if anybody would get married, out of all my friends, I would say it's me. The rest of y'all, I can see you getting married, Obi. I ain't gonna lie, I can see you getting married. The rest of y'all, I don't know. It's just they live a wild life, social media, or just they don't really see the value in women right now. So I don't really see it. If they see it, I'll go to the wedding, but I'll be very shocked. And if they do, I think they're getting divorced. So
hey, you don't even have no hope for them, London?
I don't got no hope for it. A lot of y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me.
I got hope for you. No, for real, I got really hope for you, because you kind of like me in that way. I think we can do it, but I'm not giving you no promises either, because you just closed-minded.
I mean, we'll see what happens. But let me ask you this though. Okay, so for those out there who don't want to get married but they want kids, what's the alternative? You see what I'm saying? Because that's
really pretty cool to me. Don't want to get married but have kids.
So you just going.
I'm almost at that point right now. I'm trying to have a kid.
Trying to have a kid
right now. It's time.
Cool. When I show up to the gym, you tell me I'm finna be an uncle, bro. I'm be like, congratulations. Just
there you go. We got little L popping out. I'm taking the application. Actually, no, let me not say that, because I mess around, get trapped, and be pissed.
But you wanted, bro. You manifested it, my brother. You put it on air.
You got to be 5'8" and over though.
5'8" and over. Okay. What's the? Nah, let me not. not do that on air, bro. Nah, but I mean, no, but seriously though, it's like, what are we creating? You know, it's kind of this culture we have now, this kind of society we have now. It's a baby mama, you know, baby daddy culture where it's like people aren't getting married, people aren't manifesting families, and as a result, it's just like you have a bunch of kids, which to me is the unfortunate thing at the end of the day. You know, they're a product of single parent households, and then they're the ones who end up suffering in the end. So, you know, for me, it's like we can create marriages again, but it just has to take people healing, people working together, and to create a better society, better marriage, better homes, and you know, better future. You know what I mean? It's my biggest takeaway.
On some real stuff, if I have a girl, a kid with a girl, I'm probably gonna marry her. Just off the financial aspect of it. Sorry.
This brother here is wilding today, bro. I don't know what's going on with him today, y'all. I guess he just tired. You know what I'm saying? London.
Yeah, he wanted to do this podcast late, y'all. You know, it's my big time at 10:30.
Dang, you old. God damn, 10:30.
He's a drinker.
No, what we're not gonna do. You know, we're gonna end this episode this week, y'all. London wilding. But like I said, man, we're gonna wrap it up this week. We appreciate you. We appreciate you guys continuing to listen and engage and support us. We continuing to bring these gems for y'all. Like I said in the beginning, continue to like, comment, subscribe to us on all your listening platforms, including YouTube. Engage with us on social media. You can follow me at obi.mike56 on Instagram. London, plug your IG.
Follow me at London, LONDON _Ogletree, OGLETREE. You know, I gotta spell it out for y'all because he would be like Ogletree. I'm like, bro. And then you would think somebody knew my name, London. They be like Landon. I'm like, bro, you saw London. So if you saw the city London, you would have said Landon. Come on now.
You got that long ass name, bro. It's okay.
I'm about to dang near change my name to Quincy. Legally change it
to Quincy.
Quincy.
All right,
I'm
Quincy.
kidding,
Okay. And we'll catch y'all. That'll do it for this week, man. We'll catch y'all next week. Much love.
Feet on the ground with a prove you wrong mindset. I'd rather go out on my sword to have my mind tapped. The ones with eyes can never see, I make the blind clap. I'm bringing back that type of sound that once divine rap, homie. Yeah.